Yedru Pashu Chodang Suki Chognam La Janju Padu Dagni Kyapsu Chi Dagi Chenyen Ki Pe Sonam Ki Rola Penchu Sangi Pashu Chodang Suki Chognam La Janju Padu Dagni Kyapsu Chi Dagi Chenyen Ki Pe Sonam Ki Rola Penchu Sangi Pashu.
Good. Let's learn to do this. Good morning, everybody.
Morning, Geshe.
How are you guys?
Good.
We did a class almost more than a month. Anyway, we are very, very, very wonderful, great, I say, events last, 2-3 weeks. It's very, very, very wonderful. I think I already mentioned a couple of terms. And, it's United States. Lama is Thubten Damchoe, give the high level initiation. Also the monks from the Seraji, also the couple monks also particularly specific the training to high level. Then they come to here to San Manala. I think this is maybe like this all together. Maybe in the United States the first time. This is very wonderful because my teacher in East One India, he asked me also, it's good to, this Kurukulla Center is part of Seraji, is the start to Lama Ishi, or Lama Subrahmachari. They come from Kopen Monastery. The Kopen Monastery is there who started Lama Ishi. He's from Seraji. Therefore, Hayagiva is a Seraji Dharma protector. He is the, Rinpoche already mentioned for us, he's the Rapo emanation. Hour of the Sharavara. Therefore, we have also special connection. Then, right now it's degeneration time. Human's mind, time, all degeneration time. Therefore, higher give us a special power to protect for us, benefit for us. There was many different reasons, for we plan to this happen, but it's all done. San Mandala Rinpoche already told this is the palace of the Hayagiva, his house. Therefore, we are very wonderful, very great. Things happen. We all enjoy. Then we say, how come this happen? It's not me. It's not just, director. It's not just, a species. I think usually the men walk say, director, me, a species, more and things, but it's not happen from us. It's all of you. Main things that as Rinpoche still here, he support us. He's the first person to start the center. Still he's here. We thank you for him. Then fourth Geshe is Lobsang Shamba. Then second Geshe is Geshe Tuala. They're all very hardworking. Then we have wonderful center here. I think Deborah knows before we are here. She knows what's, she's the we are called the Kurukulla Center mom. She always here. She do things. She has a lot more experience, more than me. Before, they moved to here, they moved there. Sometimes they lost there. Now I heard there's some box every Sunday. They put things in a box. When Sunday, they take that to the church and they set up the little altar. And one day, I heard they lost the box also. Anyway, it's very challenging, very difficult, but they all doesn't give up. Then they start a wonderful center here. Then we have to say, all of them to thank you. Then we have, right now, we have this wonderful events happen. All of you work together, work hard. Therefore, we have this happen. Usually I always mention, all the people work together, everybody do peace, then peace put together, then we can do everything, whatever you want. Therefore, all of you very hardworking, inside, outside, people spend a lot of times to, support the center, serve the center. Then I would like to say everybody to thank you very much for all of you. Done a very good job. It's also a very good opportunity, all of you, to create the merit. Create the merit. Serve the Dharma Center is the best way. You don't get paycheck, but you get the merit. That's very good, and we all enjoy. Then people cook, people bring food, then people clean the outside, bring the flower, put the flower, nice garden, clean the inside. Everybody, anyway. A lot of people have this connection to this interest. This very, very good opportunity. All of you, all of us. Also, I'd like to say thank you, all of you, to did that. Dan is a doing that. This is, we do together the work, then we call benefit others, help to others. Means not go to the one by one, give some food or some money or maybe do something. You can do here very good events. Many people opportunity to come to see, opportunity to put some influence. This is a benefit all century. Otherwise, we say, okay, I'm going to benefit all century, help to them. Say. Maybe you say, who does have food? I'm going to give the food. Not enough. You don't have enough to give. Then you say, okay, I'm going to help. Who has problem there, help, I'm going to help. We cannot do it. Maybe you get some daughter there. You don't have much to do. The main thing is people have to put some influence. In Buddhism we call it Dharma, influence, in a positive way. In a positive way. It's the main thing. Then we have everybody work together, then many people has, opportunity to come here, opportunity to come see. This is the benefit of others. Therefore, everybody, thank you, very hardworking. And usually, also, Dharma protect us. Also, they know, they enjoy, they protect you more. However you done, good positive things, not necessary to usually curse. Anyway, therefore everybody also think about motivation. Also, I'm going to volunteer to serve. The Shapshism goes. Serve. This is go to positive way. Otherwise, oh my God, you're there, maybe people like me, people think maybe I'm good, we are this kind, this is airborneness, coming to airborneness. Then people doesn't, we call sad things, then you get a little bit unhappy. Therefore, always to this opportunity to serve from my side, from myself, my side, how you say. Therefore, because you don't wish things to get something, then if you don't get, then you don't have any also kind of unhappy. Therefore, anyway, particularly, water is doing very hard working. He's killing all the houses. Also, I don't need to say, do that, He's looking, he do very well. Oh, thank you. Very good job. Then also, Barbara, she looks there outside the gardens. Look at real garden. A garden? He knows a garden house. We are garden. We are garden. Not just some little house. We are garden. She looks very wonderful. Very looks good. Oh, thank you. It's very good. Then Sharon also, she worked very hard. Last 2-3 weeks, she stay here, sleep the basement, Anyway, include that a lot of people, their Peter's family, their whole family come here. They bring food, they walk very hard. Then he cook very Tibetan food. Also, pasamak. But you pasamak too big. Oh. Usually pasamak is a very small thing, small piece. But anyway, all of you very, very, very hard working, very, very good job.
So all of you who have worked very hard to help to make this event very successful. And Geshe would like to thank everybody, but if he left anybody's name out, then forgive him for that.
Also, I didn't remember the names, who was I know them, Anyway, all the Dharma protectors, Dharmas also there. How you call it? Ritual. They protect, they are rituals, they are always protect behind you. And all of you have to say thank you very much, it's very good. This is a result to everybody working together. Okay? This is a main thing. Also, we have a lot of things happen. Still, we have coming, then we have to do more. Not enough one. Now you really have a lot of, I call it, impermanence. Then you can just visualize it. I also water, hard water. When I get water. Anyway, then I don't remember what we talked before. But anyway, usually in all of the world we have a lot of different religions. From my side, I believe all the religions are very good because they all try to people's mind positive way. Also, people have, who believe that religion, they have to something to place to go, to some place to talk. When they have some any situation, they say, okay, I go there. My temple, my church. It's good to be. Then they can some try to pray something.
So everybody has some kind of hope in that place.
Right? Therefore, I from my side, I accept all the religions good. And what religion follow you, it is up to you. Particularly this country, religious freedom, the constitution. You guys know? I studied last year, no, I don't know. You say you practice religion or not practice religion, your choice. Then Buddhism is usually all the religions talk about 10 non-virtues, 10 commandments. I think they may be different content. It's very similar. Whatever you do, the actions, they cause you or others. They say, don't do that. Right? 10 commandments, 10 non-virtues. I'm not very familiar with that. I think it's very similar. Last year I had one teacher, English tutor. She's the cushion. What's that? Christian. Yeah. Then we talked and she told me about 10 non-virtues. It's very similar. Therefore, Buddhism 10 non-virtues, this is the main thing. They say, if you do that, you get problem. Therefore, don't do it, right? Also others' problem. You make for others' problem. It's a main.
It's a common practice of all
Common
religions.
practice. Oh, good. Common practice for religion. Then some Tibetan, Buddhism way. But this is different. Doesn't matter. The men.
So there are, of course, different ones in each religion, but there's a common one. That's the 10 non-virtues action to be abandoned in all the religions.
Okay, finish my English. 아니, 당연히 남의 취 제외 그대로 가려고 나왔어.
So what is the purpose of practicing Buddhism?
아니, 나줄로 지는 나도 지금 다 지금 내가 지금 뭐라야다. 빼주 치우세요. 되게 지금 말했어.
And so the purpose of practicing studying Buddhism is not to, obtain a high-paid job and make a lot of money.
아니, 식당에 남주가 나도 로조도 다 맞이 데려왔어. 소소 로조야 보이나 주가 내가 야보. 내가 야보시네 소소 다 야보서 내가 밑에 쥐보서 내가 되게 자신으로 왔어.
So our studies, mostly that we study, right, in college, to get a degree, and so that you can get a good job and make a lot of money and have a good living, right?
와, 다 시전에 강가다 작업을 해봐라. 다 시전에 되려고 그러는 건가?
In general, not in every aspect, but in general, that's the purpose, right?
다 나도 남의 취 당봉 그 주요디 삶에게네. 그 주요디네. 아니, 다 골드를 말해서 나 그랬어.
And so, but for the study of Buddhism or practice of Buddhism, from the beginning, you explained that that's not the goal.
다 골 가려야 되나? 다 나도 깨워라 토마요 말했어.
So what is the goal then for practicing Buddhism? So it starts with the beginning, from the explanation of how there's no beginning of life.
깨워라 토마 명하들 다 나도 등한 내 냐도 등한 내 마녀사 나도 라이 주요 말했어.
So since there's no beginning of life, there's a life before this life, and before that there's another life and another life. So when you go back like that, there's no way you can attach to the beginning and say that this is where it started from. So since there's no beginning, Yeah, so that means we had countless lives in our previous life, in the previous rebirths. And so during that time, we have gone through all kinds of experiences, all kinds of sufferings we have experienced. And so you can't point one suffering and say, this is a suffering that I haven't experienced.
Wow. 다 나도 다 기억 한마디 다 다른 거 가지고 통통하면도 그 아무시 다 나도 깨네. 단답하라 소소나 직강이 체에 준다면 가리 용도였어.
And so, let alone all those beginningless lives that we had, even in this lifetime, from the time we were born until now, we have gone through so many different kind of experiences, right? So many experiences of sufferings, pleasure, and so forth.
그거 다 나도 사모탄 다 마음에 다 근데 누가 뭐 영어 가도 가서 강에 누가 연이 좋으면 더 누가랑 가서 누가 세대 나랑 마대 배기 샤워다 누가 쓰기래서.
And so none of us wishes to experience any of these sufferings, right? So suffering is something that we don't wish for.
그거 근데 소소 마대 샤워다 니 말이랑 가서 저도 강가 용도야 소소 아는 안 좋고 아무나 미기도 아무나 생각 용도야.
So do we all experience, something that we don't like in everyday life, right? In our day-to-day life. Sometimes, either by sound or by, or physically or mentally or something that we don't wish to experience, we don't wish to hear or listen, or see or, experience.
그거 나도 계셔 마시와지 다 총장으로 다른 놈이 강가지 누가다 강에 계속 뭐 삼서 하나 소소로 되게 왔어 총도 왔어.
So when we don't think it that way and just look at the people who are roaming around, in the malls and on the street and so forth, we don't think that they have all these experiences, right?
옛날 체주마다 쇼케네 건다가 삼었다나 소소 마다야겠다 샤와. 근데 actually 뭐 보는 거예요 그래서.
So if we don't think it that way, then of course we will not understand or we will not see it. But if we think, then it makes sense that everybody goes through some kind of experiences of things that we don't want to, go through, either don't want to hear or don't want to think or don't want to feel and so forth, right? That everybody goes through that kind of feeling, that kind of experience in a day.
근데 영화한테 다 가르쳐서 근데 영화한테 야만은 지금 뭐지 그 소소한 남자 때다. 야만은 지금 계절시하다. 야만은 지금 소소고 지금 싸만하지 말을 같은데 하던 영화에서 뭐지.
And so most of these experiences that we go through, or the most of time when we feel unhappy is because of either somebody saying something bad to us, or something looking in a bad way, or expressing their feeling in certain ways. So because of that, then we feel unhappy.
답변 된대로 용도 저도 용도 된대 저도 강가 experience.
So do we all have that experience?
Right? 다 모두 삼다 다 마음에 다 대가는 용도예요. 막 솔직히 들이 용이 좋으면 좋았어.
So that kind of the feeling of unhappiness, why do we experience that? None of us wishes to have that feeling, right? But why do we experience it?
그때나 용도도 와서 다른도 가르치는 것도 남들 삼다 그래서.
So in other words, we feel unhappy in many different ways, either by somebody saying something or somebody looking in something or some ways or something. In that way we become unhappy. And so what makes us become unhappy in that way? So what is the cause for that? That's what is explained in Buddhism.
다 나도 세대 다 들이 용한테 나라서 가디는 나라서 생각하고 그래서 나도 생각하고.
So that is because we are following our emotions all the time.
그래도 말이 나라서도 나도 생각하러 왔어.
So our emotion, which is the mind, right? Our mind, we follow our mind, and our mind is different from us, is it? Right?
그러나 내 생각도 무슨 말씀이랑도 너무 갈라서 내 생각도 마치지 만들라고 왔어.
So just by the way we say it, like when we say mind, we don't say I mind, we say my mind, right? So that shows that I am different from my mind.
근데 이번에 다 가지고 가디나 생각지는 거예요. 그래서 생각가리 생각가리 책을 대가서 주는 거예요. 그래서.
And so we follow our mind, our emotions. So whatever we feel, then we follow that.
그래도 말해.
Is that true?
그거 들이 생각하라. 그거 들이 가지고 생각이야. Today I have to go beach. Then you go to beach. Then you guys say, today I have to go to dancing. then the body has no choice to go driving. Even it's tired, right? You always follow the mind. That tenji is same day, that look at the same day, same abu, same go, that young same day, that you move young.
So we follow our mind, and our mind follows the delusions.
That man savate, that you move it, can you change the new
And so it is the delusions that is the main cause of all this unhappiness feelings.
That delusion, you must have candidates, not that those who candidates not to touch somebody else.
And so now we have to identify what are the delusions that causes all this suffering.
They mishiba, moba, maripa, there is what?
And so there are many delusions. The main one is the ignorance.
Mishibi shower tell a shoe, take Mishibi shower, so she may well Mishibi shower tell a shoe, they actually shower tell the time to do one.
So not knowing, ignorance, which means not knowing, right? So because of not knowing, then we think there is happiness in doing that, and then we follow that. And then end up experiencing suffering.
Then the Sanji Jum then they got Tambo so the Bob Jam Majaj, Gava Puzo so much, Rangason nails and then Sanji Tembayes. That the Bob Majaj, Gava Puzo so much, so can Rangas send the Wate, that is so good.
And so just like in the prayer it says, do not commit any non-virtuous action, perform only perfect virtues, subdue your mind, this is the teaching of the Buddha. And so by doing that, by not committing any non-virtuous action and by following or performing only virtuous actions, then you subdue your mind. And if you do that, then that's the teaching of the Buddha.
What? Tindy the time, Miribam, Tindy, that subject of Manikalisana, that's say was thing of Dupatangres, Temachakon.
And so then these unruly minds or delusional minds are the one which cause all the suffering. So there are many different kinds of delusions. And one of the main ones are like attachment. Attachment causes a lot of pain, so we should abandon and eliminate the attachment.
And it mentioned Naja said it is Naja said.
And then the other main delusion, one of the main delusions is the pride.
Naja said the pain of Dupatangres to Hako.
So the pride also causes a lot of suffering. I don't know if you have experienced or if you have come to realize that.
Kadibaina Nazu Chidos, Ne Kang Samadang, Ne Kang Cheshawa, Ne Kang Labate Tatai, no something was. They Chananga de Shetan do Chana Labate Marilanda, not tax no consign was.
And so the pride makes us think that we are right and whatever I do is right, whatever I say is right. And then at any moment, if somebody says, oh, what you did is wrong, what you said is wrong, then immediately we become angry. Right? Is that right? So that's because of the pride, because you keep thinking that, well, no, I'm right, whatever I say is right, whatever I do is right. That feeling makes you become like that. And then another one is the jealousy. So that makes all of us unhappy, right? And then of course anger, hatred, right? So while being angry or hatred, you can never be happy, right? And so when we say don't let our mind our mind follow the delusions, that means don't let these delusions control our mind, take over our mind. So do you think we can be separated from these delusions? Yes, they can be separated from our mind. And for that, of course, we have to practice. If we follow the practice of Buddhism, then it is possible, to be separated or to eliminate those minds.
모타다 가지고 뿌나면 뭐지 상 말아. 모타다 강바도 저다 뭐지 코상 말아. 저 뭐 미래가.
So most of the time when we become angry, we always blame others, right? And say, oh, because of that person made me become angry. That she became angry, or he made me become angry, like that. So we always blame on others, right? Of course, it's mostly people. We don't get angry on inanimate objects like cars and so forth, unless you're a child, right? Maybe the children they get angry towards inanimate objects.
근데 some 가버렸다. 미치게 소리가 그냥 되고 가라다. 삼로 있다. 대구에서 레드도 준세도 소소 삼로 있다. 소소 남쪽으로 말 배제다니. 아니 다 소소 직강에 등에 지금 노래랑으로 쉬어야나. 다 대한 이제 다 탑치고 쉬고 매봐야나로. 아니 다 이제 고랑 뭐라야 다 누모바 마시바 머리에 양화도 지는데 제와를 삼치 이제로 공사와나. 저는 고르마 잘하고
So instead of blaming on other person, whenever he shouts at you or looks in a bad way at you, instead of becoming angry with him or her, if you instead start thinking, oh, he's doing this, she's doing this because she's under the control of delusions, forced by delusion, and she's becoming like this, oh, poor person, she's under the control of delusions and making her do these things and so forth. So if you think like that, instead of being angry, if you think, oh, poor person, and then you suddenly feel empathy or compassion for that person. So when you have that kind of the feeling of empathy towards that person, then your anger is no longer there. You don't get angry while feeling feeling empathy for other person.
다들 많이 봤지. 다 소소치 레카처럼도 야만나 도보토모로지 깨자지 세상이지 말고 전에 다대 전선에 전에 되네 되게 깨자 시작당 아니 수보가 남자 때다 아니 강발단에 다 소소치 소소대지 가로 공동 아야니 공동에야 휴청 봐야겠다 지금 전에 저와나 아니 그 방에 강한 저와다 강까지 소소를 만들어 지어는 통은 거였어.
And so instead of thinking in that way, if we start to think how bad that person is because he said that he did that, and or he said it this way, he scolded me, and he said this thing, he made me do this, and instead if you think, analyzing more and more on what bad things he did, then the anger becomes stronger and stronger in your mind. So you're thinking of all these different reasons, like you're doing an analytical meditation on anger, to increase anger in your mind. And so that happens a lot to all of us, unless we're really well trained.
아니 가서 된대 봐야자 지금 대가족들아 다고 말이 봐 미시바 몸에 상을 제발해도 상상하였나 소주 대가를 내가 지금 맞지 완자 공로셔야 하는 거 말이고.
And so instead of thinking all the bad things that he did or bad things that he said, if you just feel, oh, poor guy, he's under the control of delusions, out of delusions he's doing this and that. So if you blame on his delusion instead of him, then you will feel empathy for him, and then you will not have anger towards him.
아니 쉬운 줄 내가 그러고 소리를 그러고.
그거.
I don't remember that. Bodhisattva. Guide to the Bodhisattva was the which chapter there, and a patient chapter. 6. Yeah, you can read this again and again and again. It's very important to our mind. It's not just I said that, just somebody said that. This is Buddha's message to make shanti our short verses. It's really good to subdue our delusions. What is today by the now I have to say something I forgot. Then go to other place. Today by the 다 남의 주 제외가 고대 쪼르어데 다 소리지라 지 공도 사원이나 공도 맞대 요 저도 사원은 저도 되게 많이 요 내가 저는 다 내자는 가지고 가는데 지금 부모 저하고 고대 하는데 남자 요래서 요 다나 다 남의 주 제외 고쳐요 그래서.
And so the purpose of practicing Buddhism is to contract with these delusions, to subdue this delusion of mind. So if we have strong attachment and work on having work on reducing that attachment. And if you have anger or any other kind of delusion like jealousy, pride, and so forth, then work on reducing those delusions in your mind. And so that is the main purpose of practicing Buddhism, or the goal of practicing Buddhism. So when we talk about attachment, it's not necessarily only a sexual attachment. So attachment for any kind of things, can be attachment also. That can bring a lot of suffering. So should work on reducing any kind of attachment.
다 소소도 삼다 그래서 소소 너무 좋은 것도 좋은 소소 삼다고 그래서 아니 남배 치 맞으면 내가 단단히 빨아라 치 소소 샘존도 다 찌발로 해야 되나 다 남배 취치가 되겠다 지 전업 다 봐서 샤워를 마시고 소소 샘게 평이 매러
So that is the purpose of practicing Buddhism. And if that has happened, like if the delusions have reduced in your mind, then that is that practice of Buddhism have become fruitful. Otherwise, if you are no different from before and now, before and after, before practicing Buddhism and after practicing Buddhism, if there's no difference, then of course practicing Buddhism might leave some imprint in your mind, but that doesn't really have helped you a lot.
좋아. 하는 가서 너무 무슨 세모세에 요래서 삼대는 가서 로섬 삼섬 되네. 아니 세모세인데 막 이거 되는 게 요래서. 그래서 다 세는 저건 로메와 있나? 아니 로섬 삼대가 되고 가지. 다 세계가 너무 맞아. 다 세모세에서 말해서. 어떻게 이건 뭐 배우다 담게라 시소들 요래서.
그래서
삼대한테 다 너무 맞춰다 시더라고요.
그래서 그래서
세모들 막 이거 보니.
그래서
너무 딱 좋아한다.
So they're saying that instead of exhausting the delusions, you exhaust your fingernail. So they're saying that, it's like people who do retreat for 3 years, 3 months, and 3 days. You guys have heard about that, right? That long retreat. And so during the retreat, they keep counting the mala with their finger, right? And so when they count, their fingernail gets whirled up, the way of their fingernail. But instead of getting the delusions, exhausted, they exhaust the fingernail. And so they say that's not a good sign. So even if you do all this practice for a long time, but if that didn't help you to reduce your delusion, then that wasn't much beneficial.
좋아. 네. 내만 삼바원이 단지 문인 상대만 해서 다 지금 잠깐 제사하게 들어왔어. 당가서 잠깐이로 왔어. 몸치기나 거리 몸 추나 거리는데 요리 왔어. 다 지금 잠깐이잖아. 다 지금 잠깐 사게 간 건데 지금 공기하면서 싸움을 땅에 대치거든. 아니 이마 지금 잠깐 사는 게 있다. 아니 나 사서 저 사서 했어. 나서 저 갈 사서. 나 사서 했어. 아니 저 잠깐은 그 잠깐이야 되게 왜서 네 기세적으로 말했어.
So there were two retreaters, so of course they're both doing retreat and meditation practice, supposed to. So when we in some way, when we think about retreat, we always think about counting mantras, so 100,000 times or 10,000 times or like a million times and so forth. And so they always emphasize on counting and rather than emphasizing on subduing the mind. And so this person. So he said he's in the retreat, so he started to count mantras, and then he asked the other person, "Did you finish your retreat?" And that other person said, "No, I didn't. He was practicing really, seriously meditating on to reduce the delusion in the mind." And so the other person, he finished counting, so he said, "Oh, I finished counting, and I finished the mantra." And so then the other person asked him, "Oh, so you're not doing retreat? You're counting. You're doing counting. You're not doing retreat." So that's what it becomes like that. It becomes like that. So that is not the purpose of doing the retreat or practicing Buddhism.
어떤지 맞았다. 남이 중문에 염려하고 제와이나 다 다투기 아니 다 골스만 다 결성 아니 다와다 도저히 봐 때려도 그래서 다투기.
And so the ultimate goal of practicing Buddhism is to achieve liberation for oneself and or to achieve a state of full enlightenment or Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings.
아니 내까지 내가서 뭐 telaya 소주 메세다가 지 강이 간절히 주나 tel라 도면시 또 같이 아니 tel라 조팅이 좀 그래서
And so that's the ultimate goal, the ultimate achievement of practicing Buddhism. We call it definite goodness, which is the state of liberation, state of full enlightenment. And then the temporal benefit is that to subdue one's mind, to have a good life, to be able to go through all this experience, go through the experiences of small suffering. So when somebody says something bad to you, and if you are able to be patient and not respond to them, not return it to their bad words or bad actions, then that is the temporal goal in our present Buddhism.
Tibetan 남주 거대인 바다에 지금 다 코바 친구 채워 그랬어.
So always should have a broad mind.
만수기 만수 레베나라 아니 거대나 나 주부면서 제발 마시고 채워 말서 나 주부면서 내 이거가 딱 레베나 쉬고 채워 그랬어.
So what I mean by that is that should not be thinking about oneself alone. Should think about others as well.
나도 나의 인연에 거대만 하였어. 나의 영망하러 왔어.
So when you think about me and others, or me and my object, right? So when my object, anybody else, anything else, it's my object. It's my object of perception and object of thought and so forth. So me and my object, that's a big difference. Me is just one object. My object is all others, right?
그렇다 너도 레바 가와야 돼. 너도 레베 나라 나는 나의 네가 흉화치는데 양보셔야 그랬어.
And so in our mind, in our brain, if we can fit not only myself but also all others, then that is very helpful.
그래서 아니 선바다 가서 오션 나지 전에 다 수수 끼고쳐라 그래서.
And so if we make our mind become like an ocean, then we will become very happy.
오션 나가서 도도 유바다 가리마물 루셔나고 오션 니자나 거대들어.
So no matter what you put in the ocean, right? Even if you throw a stone or stick or whatever you do to it, it will not do anything. It will just sit like that. So your mind has to be like that.
애네가도 지금 깜짝나 진유자 디나치 도나치나 추가가지고 올라오고 그러고서 왔다 들리러 재미했어.
So your mind should be like that, So no matter what feelings come to you, what kind of experience you get, should always be indifferent, and so we all should not be like a water in a cup, So if you throw a small piece of a stone on that, the water will overflow because the cup is too small, right? And so it should not be like that.
그런 날까 주지되는 또 친구도 흉고에 말을 왔어. 되게 쳐들어 흉고에 말이 되게 대신 쳐들 총 돌는 거.
And so also because it's small cup, so if you were to throw a bigger piece of stone in that it will not even fit in there, right?
근데 예전 나도 쌤들 들으러 재미했지. 야, 누가 님바 많이마 가리 용하는 것도 고르스. 아니 지금 그다 고대 침보로 오잖아. 딩스를 배우리 매 제발 배우게. 딩스를 배우게.
So we should not have our mind like that. Instead, we have like the ocean, and so whatever we experience, whether it's good or bad, whatever we hear people say, whether it's good or bad, whatever people look in a way, in whatever way they look at us, in a good way or bad way, or whatever they say, we should not feel happy or unhappy. Should feel indifferent.
봐. 근데 대체나는 소소를 켜서는 소소 쌤은 다 대화 마하더라고 그러고 소소 쌤은 기가 소소대로 강이 중요해요 그래서.
So if you don't think in that way, then your mind will not be disturbed, right? And you'll be more happy, more comfortable.
그래요. 나도 강가라 강에 대해 소소 가세 강인 채워도 소소 되지. 내가 처음으로 세워 삼지 소소 동안 마음 되는 거 같아요.
So whenever we experience some kind of problems, and if we just ignore it or say, oh, this is nothing, if you feel like that, then it's really nothing. But if we start to think, oh, this is big suffering, then it really becomes big suffering.
근데 나도 가서 수다고 그러고 수다는 소소를 대진 세다고 받는 상담에 체체는 정말 소소문에 때마다 들려요.
So if we think, oh, this is big suffering, or because of this, because of that, and so forth, so if you keep on thinking about this reason, and then it will become so big that you won't be able to bear it.
된수가 지금 다 메시지도 내 랍샤고 말했을 때 산지 좀 됐는데도 내 계획이 좀 송샤가 되다. 내 아주도 막
This is what said by the Buddha, and it's really true. And also, of course, it's said by Buddha. It's not something I made it up. were said about Buddha and said by the great teachers of the past who had all these experiences. And I'm just passing you the message here.
Okay, I don't have experience. But the thing is mostly true. Buddha, when Buddha teach, he investigation, then he teach, not just taught whatever he want, whatever he said. Investigation, and he
And so he investigated on all the points of what is good, what is bad, and then after finding out what is right and what is good, then he explained to us.
Then Sanjay Mandulaya Bada Thubten Damchoe, and Negi Nyamnyonda, Negi Takaru, Kanshiva the Neis in the Charansu Red to the Charansu Tachi cheese,
just like the rights of the constitutions of America, he also gave us that right, to practice or not. So I'm saying this to you, but it's up to you to check it whether it is true or not. And if you think it's true and if you think it is beneficial for you, then you can practice. If you don't think it, you don't have to practice. Just because you have faith in it.
Pechashawayna, Makiwachi Matruayana, Makiwachi Kargi Shavala Shubayana, take Sanjaki no Marsinatu, Tim Mandimatu, Sanjaki no Maris.
So, for example, if you engage in non-virtuous actions, if you don't follow the virtuous action and engage in non-virtuous action, that will not harm the Buddha at all. So who does it harm? It's oneself.
Okay. Any social, but the social that tempted to watching Gaza,
and it harmed the people around ourselves, right? All our friends, our neighbors.
And it takes the Tenita so to make a hard was
and then that will make us, by ourselves alone. That will make us lonely. Nobody would want to be friends with us anymore.
Always in the holiest talk, when the dogs, very peaceful dog, then all the other dogs also stand up from next to, next to the dogs. And some very angry dogs, all the dogs also run away because they scare me, they bite, therefore, even the animals. So
same with human beings, right?
What it is by such a Susu to make Kachan, Mono Goina, and Susu, Nikurki, and it meet Sudan.
So if you are nice to people, they will be nice to you, they will come around you. If you are bad, then if not nice, then they will not like you and they will not be around you. So if you don't want to be lonely, then you have to be good to others so that they will be around you.
But this country, very completely different, different, how do you say? In India, Tibetan, I don't know, China also. The neighbors all come together, they talk, they each other, they go. But here, we don't know their neighbors, when they're coming, when they're going. It's very, I don't know. This is good or bad. I don't know, maybe because, we don't have any connection with each other. Because they don't want to touch each other, just stay there, just go walk, come. Then maybe we go to ask them questions, then maybe they have some doubt, maybe they want to do something, This is a different culture, different culture, I'm not saying Tibetan India is very good, but the culture is, very open, when the neighbors, families come together, the news coming, everybody go there, talk, everybody know each other's, they come each other's, even all that. Here it is different, then everybody stands like only one. Then they're very always stressed because they have no place to talk. Usually when we have something very, unhappy things happen, then if we are too available to talk to someone, then some people, they can help to go away.
So if you find somebody to talk to, then you feel more relaxed, right?
Right. Then we always find our close people, co-workers, neighbors, then who we talk? Talk maybe dog, maybe cat. Usually they're nice, cats, dogs, also they know the owner. The owner be a little bit angry, there's something, then they doesn't come very close, they know. The owner be not, they come, they show, tail, they show, they, how you call that, the
Leak.
lake, if they think the neighbors little, then they will be,
So they will hide their tails between their legs and
then we know how.
run under the bed.
Right? Today by the Tazo Kaniga Nimigrasana, Nado controls and Najas and Tatos at the Chigres.
So what causes us to become like that is the delusions, like the pride, the jealousy, the ignorance, and so forth.
Today that's what you put out what that Rupa Minichibo. And it's also Ravajan, they Korola, they will never so. Then Namji, then on the shadow of the was. We say Luma Dela, the smile.
So then one becomes lonely. The people that one can have hope and one can depend on. We become angry and make them or drive them away, far away, and then one becomes lonely and then nobody to look for help and so forth.
어떻게 더 강가 다 가서 공초의 님을 아니 세당의 님을 차도의 님을 또 소위 말해. 또 제가 있나 다 소소들이 차도 그래서.
And so these are all the the disadvantage of the delusions. So if we follow the delusion, then we will become like that.
근데 들이대시 땅도 하고 본도 왔어. 먼저 강의 영화한테 수익 교열에 나도 교열이라고 말했어. 나도 샘게 와서 샘 용어 와서 어디 교열했어.
And so it's all the problems that we face is not because of others, not because of ourselves, it's because of our mind. The mind that follows the delusion, so it is because of the delusions.
근데 나도 수보당 나도 샘이 가디가 많거든.
So which one has more power, our body or mind?
Mind is more power, right? Yeah, mind thinks something to do, then body has no choice. The mind thinks, oh, my body is too tired, I will sleep then. Body has to also sleep, But today, but that to look at some of the kanji, not you nyamle, son samala, and each kondo majilana, kondo manuta. Tato machina, tato nuta, there are nyamle chase. Zoa gom lana, suzu zoa gom. Nije gom lana, suzu nije gom. Shanju sem gom, suzu nije, shanju sem gom, but like nyamle chase.
So the practice, when we talk about practicing, the practice, is to think about these delusions, the disadvantages, the drawbacks of these delusions, just like we talked about now. Think about that, and then think, oh, I should not become angry. So you come to the conclusion, thinking that I should not become angry, I should not be jealous, I should not be arrogant, and so forth. So, and thinking that, and then setting your mind to that is what we call meditation. And so you set your mind to that. And then same with the other, positive, generating or increasing the positive state of minds, like meditating on compassion or meditating on bodhicitta. Why do we need to generate bodhicitta? Why do we need to have compassion? Because if we have compassion, then there's this benefit, that. And so we think about all those reasons. That's what we call analytical meditation. So first you do analytical meditation on that by thinking about all the reasons. And then at the end, that says, yes, I must have this mind, I must generate bodhicitta, I must have wish to achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. Because with that, then I can become enlightened, then with that. And so you come to that conclusion, and then just set your mind to have that mind all the time. So putting your mind on that, setting your mind on that is called meditation, practice.
샹적의 샘세대 샘제 담추고도 산지 공부 토벌 쇼 샘제도 대화도 담을 쇼 년별로 다 내려오려고 샹적 샘다 샹바스.
So the bodhicitta, is a mind wishing to achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings, right? And so I must achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. In order to help them, I must become Buddha. So that thought, is called bodhicitta. And so you have to generate that mind all the time.
아니 삼자도 이제 누마다잖아. 쯤으로 녀마들 그걸 샴바로. 이제 와서 데리로 트레이닝 가서 가는 거 같이 통하나? 아니 나도 다치는 면에 자서 말아서.
And then having a thought wanting others to be happy, which is love. That's the real love. When we say love, that is the real love. It's wanting others you always wish others to be happy, then we will not have hatred towards them, right? We will not be angry towards them. We will not hate them if we want them to be happy, So that contracts also that reduces the hatred and increases the love, And that other mind is the compassion, which is thinking that may they be free, from suffering. So if you think of that, then you will not think of causing suffering with them, right? So wishing them to be free and causing them suffering, is two different minds, so it cannot happen at the one center. So if you have those minds, wishing them to be happy and wishing them to be free from suffering, then you will not have these ill wills or bad thoughts towards other sentient beings.
그봐. 아니 소소 내고 차고 소소 도보에나 아니 소소 공로서다 영어를 봤어.
And then if everybody that you have that kind of feeling towards, and then nobody that will be there for you to become angry at, right?
공로서다 요요 말을 봤을 텐데. 아니 공로서다 예면나 아니 공로사이 동안 거는 그냥 말을 봐.
So if there's nobody that you become angry at, then you will not experience the suffering of becoming angry, right?
그런데 다 소소 내고 차고 소소 도보 쳐야 돼. 소소 세고 가는 상담 받았다 약속을 했어.
And so the way to make everybody one's friend, is by training one's mind, by taming one's mind in that way.
Otherwise, we go say, okay, I want to go friend everybody. Then you do go to some food, maybe talk nice words every day. Go then one day, maybe you will try it. You have not enough to every day. Then easy to get angry. Just you think all the time. Teach all something na. Ani something say yashude. Ani so trouble. The time yashude te imares.
So that is the best way to make somebody your friend, a good friend, from your side, especially from your side, right? By thinking in that way, and of course, they will not become your enemy if you don't say bad things, if you don't, do bad things to them, and you will not do that if you're always thinking good thing about them, right? So that's the best way to make good friend to the others, by giving them some food or giving them some gift and so forth. That can only become friend for a little while, but then you will not have enough to give to them all the time. And then someday when you don't have something to give, then they will not be your friend.
근데 예전에 나도 그때 낙장으로 미쳐 소문도 왔어. 나도 이제 왼쪽으로 좁보라 말했어. 좁보 근데 샘도 다녀오죠. 좁보라 했어.
So this is what His Holiness Dan Lama says also. So the friend, who become friend, the friend who became friend with you because you gave something, because of the wealth, is not a friend. Not a good friend. And the best friend is somebody that you make, by thinking love and compassion towards them.
어다 삼모다로 드리로 삼도나 같이 드리 삼도 동안에 술 팽그래서나 나도 라야 가그 샘지 탐지라고요. 팽은 소소팽이요.
So if we do that, of course that will help others, but mainly to help oneself. Even though we say, oh, I'm doing this for the sake of others, but if you do that, then that helps yourself mainly.
먼저 남에게 시도를 안에 삼바 제도 삼남 저가 한번 더 그래서 이래서
And so that's like by thinking about others, you accomplish your own purpose. So you think for others, but you yourself get the benefits.
근데 대상 없이 좋게 남에도 말에 아니 샘체들이 대화한다 버지 샘체들이 동안 잡아지는 건 영역이라고 봤어.
And also when we do prayers, if we do in the mornings, then we wake up and do our prayers by saying, may all sentient beings be free from suffering, may all they be, may they all be endowed with happiness and so forth, right? All the time.
그래서 녹여요, 녹여요.
Do you recite that? The four imaginables?
그래서 녹여라 샘체라 누마짱이가 딱 그러고 누마짱에도 소소대 짱에도 많이 마시고 계심처럼 했어.
And so while reciting that, following that word, those words in the prayer is very important. So in the word we say, may all sentient beings be free from suffering, may all they be happy, and may they never be separated from the happiness they have, and so forth, right? And while reciting that, if we to become the one who give them the suffering, then that's not good, right? Because that's going against what we said.
그래서 대체로 통당 때 레드를 했는데 오늘 가을에 간이 교회로 왔어.
So is that true or not? Right? So what we recite is that may all they be happy, may they all be free from suffering.
양 삼성군의 소수가 사슴 남다. 이해가 있나요? 아니 소수가 다 소수 맛이 봐면 그냥 사슴 때 그냥 봐줘 어디로 용어를 들어. 수술 사서 인상 비나야.
So sometimes, even if we do out of compassion things for others, but it can still cause them unhappiness, maybe temporarily some unhappiness, right?
야 지금 삼성 수술 때 따다 인사만 야 때 수술 미시배 온 거야 너한테 가지고 뭐 뭐를 야 수술 듣고 나서 딱 그래.
So then we have to investigate also very well the things that we do or things we say, even though we think it's good, even though we're saying or we're doing it out of good heart, but because of not knowing the reality, then we may also cause some suffering at that time.
Okay? Now I finish my water. I think today I'm going to die. And people say, dry the mouth. So
if there's no saliva in your mouth, the person will die, right?
Today I dry very long. When the Tibetan, the Milemba Jews, Milemba Lemashi, and the Kola Midu, the Kama Michelle was called.
So there was this a very foolish, dumb person, and so somebody told him that when your feet become yellow, then you die.
And you might tell the Pele, and that Yaka, Sashaka metal, that Kawa Chanago Metal Jaja.
So in Tibet, in the monsoon time, the big events a lot, and the whole meadow is filled with the grass and those yellow flowers, tiny flowers.
Then you want to go Kamgome, metal color, Kamaso Chasama.
And so one day this dumb person, he walked on the grass, where there's a lot of yellow flowers, without his shoes on his feet. So then his feet became yellow from the flowers. And so he lied down and he said, "I'm dead." And then at his side, and also he saw a donkey lying down.
And that Punga married the Punga Liang to Yang, Konata Shimmer. And the take of the Kuta, Abu Shia Mato, Punga to Mares, could get the show at Mares.
And so then there was this other person, and the other person who was trying to make the donkey stand up. And then while he was lying down, he saw the person trying to make the donkey stand up. And then he said, "Oh, it's too bad that I'm dead. Otherwise, that's not the way you stand up the donkey."
Right? What did you say? Therefore, today also my mouth is not dry. Therefore, do you guys know how you stand up that donkey? Follow up? What did you? I don't know either how you do it. And then, when we are the animals, yes, they fall, then we can, try to four people take out. Just, lift up. Then I don't know how you do donkeys. Anyway, what the name of the town, Nachuche, Yamleche, Sati, any special come from Shabati, or some lot. I mean, social same data by Jarachi, Yamleche.
So practicing is whatever teachings that we study, we learn in the text, and then apply that to our mind. Follow that, follow those teachings, and then apply that to our mind, and that's called practicing.
Then I do us. She some lot of Wayna and the Toba Jella meeting. And some not Temico. Gomna, some not Temico. Gomna Toba Jella Matua. And I'm to the radio to the old west. Some not Temico, some not Timber. And Gomna Toba Jella. The name of the old west.
So, they're saying that when you meditate, you don't get any realization. So when you read, you couldn't memorize the words. And when you think, you couldn't understand the meanings. Is it like that?
And that?
When you read, you can't memorize them. You can't keep them in the mind. Right? When you read it, you can't keep it. So why is that? Why can't we keep in our mind when we read, when we can't understand, when we think, and then why can't we have realizations and when we meditate? And so at that time, we have to accumulate a great amount of merit.
Not he said my lad. And Terita Sonam Sada Yashuteta Yelado Yames.
And so, the reason why we are not able to generate any realization, no matter how much we meditate or we tend to meditate, and not understand, when we think about it, and not be able to memorize the words when we read it, is because of lacking merit. And then, so we have to accumulate, a great amount of merit. And the best way to accumulate a great amount of merit is by engaging in practice of 7 things. And then also practice the Guru devotion as well.
Namaya ane jitsu mela ane ta marba sale ta lojo mambo chine ane marbe da danga machene ane yem damai bana marba ni mela ni ta chujene ane 이게 두마치 mela 이게 marba 이게 두마치 치 대대 가로서 세 담아도 돼 말이야. 알라마 가지 다 라마 심바지라 ane 땅이 말했어 봐. marba 재미가 다 mela 대셔는 다고 이제 말베가 주는 시 맛이 아니다 내가 먹고 지지는다 메라야 가면체 아니 다 답시로 보지네 아니 이게 더 맛이 아니 말바가 이게 더 많이 지 대대 큰데 아니 다 맛이 맛있다 빵을 말했어.
So once when Milarepa was studying under Marpa, his main teacher, Marpa didn't teach him for a long time, just made him to do all these chores, and for him to purify the negative days and accumulate merit. And so Milarepa became very sad. He's working very hard, going through a lot of sufferings and not receiving any teaching. So he complained this to Marpa's wife, and Marpa's wife felt very compassion for him, and she also thought that if Milarepa stays with Marpa, Marpa will never give him teachings, and so it would be good, to send him to some other teacher. And so there was this disciple of Marpa who was also a great teacher, but he was a disciple of Marpa also. And so the Marpa's wife wrote a letter, with the seal from Marpa, thinking that it is saying that it is a letter from Marpa. And then she sent the letter and Milarepa to this teacher, to other teacher who was also Marpa's disciple. And so that disciple, when he saw the letter, oh, this is from my teacher, of course I will follow his order, his advice, and give him teaching. So then he started giving teachings. And so following this teacher's instruction, then Milarepa went into meditation. So he meditated for 6 months. And so when you do those practice, just as has been advised, and then within a month or 2, you should have some kind of signs. And let alone those signs, Milarepa didn't even have a good dream, of following that practice, for about, for more than 6 months.
And the thing get to was I cannot get a car. Java the was come over my bus, take it to rest.
And so then this teacher was a little bit suspicious about Milarepa, and it's very strange that you're not having any kind of signs. Didn't you break any the commitments or advice of your teacher? So he asked Milarepa.
And then Milarepa that yes, they get to my yes, that was too much of the way get a Damchoe rest.
And then Milarepa told him honestly, saying that was a fake letter. It wasn't from Milarepa. It was written by his wife, and so he lied about that letter.
What later that gay car, Java, tell a telly, Java, to what Tajira me one place.
And so the teacher said immediately, oh, that's the reason why you can't have realization if you break your teacher's advice.
What the time pass out, that chili, the tongue out pass out, that you shall move to a minute, I think come on, Lambo. Later, Kashi, touching it as a kitchen race.
So he said, oh, that's so bad, that's so bad. It's not only for you, but for me also, because he didn't, it wasn't his teacher who told him to do, but he did it, without his teacher's consent. So he felt very bad, and they both went back and then confessed to him and so forth. So anyway, so the main point is that you have to follow your teachers. The guru devotion is very important.
좋아. 야, 미카지 용도. 이게 지오장 있어. 근데 대야 노트에서.
And some people also say, I'm going to teach. I'm going to change teacher. That's also a mistake.
그래서 근데 소소 개개 때는 개개 자대적으로 했어. 야, 또 하게 되나?
So you don't have to change teacher. You can have another teacher. You can add teacher, but not change teacher.
그래서
So you can have hundreds of teachers, right?
나도 사회라면 다 두고는 즉 대나야 소소 지금 그냥 걔네들이 조율해서.
And so you don't say, I'm going to give up this teacher. So once you have relied on somebody as your teacher, then you must have gone relying on another person as a teacher, and should never give up, relying on that person as your teacher or seeing that person as your teacher, no matter what it is. So then you can have another teacher. So you can have many teachers. You can have many root gurus, hundreds of root gurus, but then all these teachers can become your root guru, but you can have one main teacher who you feel very close with, who you follow all the time.
어떻게다 같이 딱 신이 됐어야 되는 나도 나무수가 다 모형을 했을까요? 내가 지금 싫어해 말했어. 남지 써와 신이 됐어.
And so guru devotion is very important. That is one of the main source of all the realizations. And so that is why it is explained at the beginning of all the teachings.
나도 신도라고 지나한테 신고 쳔버지 가는 영혼이다. 또만 따라가 뜻이다라는 거.
So because the guru devotion is the root of all the path to all these realizations. Without the guru devotion, we will not have any realization. And so just like a tree, how big it's going to be, how much branch and leaves and fruits it's going to have, it depends on its root.
Okay. 나 대가서 다시 당 남배가 지 추치에 당다 남배 추치에 고바다. 당가서 배선적으로 해서.
So that's just a general teachings on Buddhism about how to practice, what is the goal of practice, and so forth.
Okay. Today, I think we stop. Do you have any questions?
Yes. Since it's been a while since you've been studying the text, looking at the text, what's the best way to go back and review and get ready for the next classes?
먼저들 송초디 가서 배제되라 너무 많죠 배제돼 아마도 좀 붙이라 안에다 제목이 송초 제목이 제대로 다리 차라는 가르쳐 버렸어 로고를 봐야 돼 가르쳐 버렸어 그러냐 가르쳐 버렸어
별로 가상으로 가르쳐 버려 팀한테 로고를 했어 먼저 처음 맡아볼 거예요 맞
So last time we were talking about was death and impermanence, right?
뭐가 뒤거는 말로 그러더라고
So if you have time, you should read on that section, death and impermanence.
저와 준비 보이는 두세 아니 시작 전승에서 다들 도와주 발생이 있다. 다들 말로 그러더라고 남청님에서 주청님에서 봤어요. 저와 그릇에서 듣고 남들로 남주에 대고 주주에다 회사는 대주로 양보신 남자들인데 개 그거 말씀 참 내버려요.
So about the death and impermanence, so how the time of death the death is certain, the time of death is uncertain, and nothing can happen at the time of death except dharma practice, right? And so then thinking about the drawbacks of not thinking about death, and so what happens if we don't think about death and the impermanence and so forth. So those parts, really should read it. And in general, the whole book is very good. This Liberation in the Palm of Your Hand is a very good book. It has all the information about all the practice. If you really study this well, you don't need to study anything else. This one alone will give all the information on the Dharma.
먼저 투모를 남죠. 근데 결과 나가서 가지고 되게 투모를 남죠. 내래 되나요?
And so where it says, when we become trained in the common path, so this is the common path.
아니 내가 지금 거하다 양조처럼 해가지고 다 너도 있는 마치 가리고 가르쳐오면 다 똑바로 저러면 지금 빠데 다 거다 채워로 그랬어.
So if we don't have understanding of this teaching, the liberation in the palm of the hand, or in lam-rim teaching in general, not necessarily this, but lam-rim teaching in general, the teaching on the gradual path to enlightenment. If we don't have a good understanding of that, no matter what high initiations we take of tantric practice, will definitely not get any realizations. That's for sure.
그거 도모 남자 내대 저와는 대화 근지 조제 도지 태그는 송도 와서
So when we become trained in the common path, then we can enter into the Vajra vehicle, the path of the Vajra vehicle of the Tantra.
대소하다만 대가라 예대 근지 예대 근지 진짜 드리지 따따다 쓰대 간지 예대 시전 나올 와서 거기 다 이신이 되세네 말로 들어서 와서
And so the Guru devotion, the foundation of all good qualities, that's what it starts in, the foundation of all good qualities. Right? And so starting from the foundation of good quality is the Guru devotion, is the devotion to the Guru, reliance on the Guru.
근데 이제 나중에도 송거했어. 세월을 올라가야 가지 소주 개개랑 담아봐야 되시면 맨날 담아면 예되면서 저거 말했어. 아니 산징이 도시 샤와나 아니 산징이 시험 주도 그랬어.
And so they're saying that if you see your guru as a common person, as an ordinary person, then you only get the qualities or the knowledge of the common person. But if you see the guru as a Buddha, then you receive the blessings of the Buddha.
대가리는 다 오늘 산지 꿈인데 시험 지나가는 것도 다들 제우도 상관도 오늘 강화나가는 것도 다 제거로 왔어.
So that's because if we see someone as a Buddha, and obviously, oh, this is really Buddha, so. And then if we listen to that person, then we'll follow his teachings, right? Oh, this is Buddha saying this, so I must follow.
대마이마지 다 수수께끼를 담아외 가서 집어서 하면 다들 집어내라고 싫어. 삼선 다 콜레가 계속 그러는 거죠. 대단한 놈이 돼. 싸워거는 주사리로.
So if you see the guru as an ordinary person, then you will not listen to him or her much, right? Because this ordinary person, you will not have that kind of strong devotion or feeling that you should follow his or her advice. Or sometimes you even might feel not like it, but might feel that he doesn't know much. I know more than him, and if you feel that like that, then definitely you're not going to follow him, right? So if you see him, yes, lower than yourself, definitely not, right? And even if you see him as equal to yourself, not very much, for maybe in one or two ways, but if you see him higher than yourself, then you will definitely follow him. So that's very important to follow, important to see him or her as a Buddha and much higher than yourself. So that's why it is very important to practice the Guru devotion.
Okay? Anyway, So
read on that section on death and impermanence. So then when we discuss next time, you will not be like totally lost.
근데 시절에다 지나서는 야구 싫어졌지. 뒤에를 딱 놓으시는 거는 아주 야구래서. 이 전에 다 저도 시험을 맞아야 돼. 가 시험에 지대님도 나도 놓으면 배웠어.
So of course, it's very good that you all have this interest in making time to come even for 2 hours on a weekend to study and so forth. That's very good. But on the other hand, you don't get much out of that because that's very little time that you spend on studying and practicing. So it's really difficult to get much out of it.
먼저 자살을 놓으시 집에 가라. 저게 Geshe Ngawang 군다 체제 주주반님만 얘가 놓으시 제대로
So when you study, when the monks study in the monastery, they study all the time. That's job. That's like their job. It's just to study, right? So they study throughout the day, and that's why they're able to get something out of it.
이나 단단 먼저 놓으신 거 따지. zero meters zero meters.
So even then, you don't get much. Even if you study the whole time, you don't get much. So.
그래다 다 저도 가면 돼. 다시 주세 이런 것도 야시시. 대표의 특산이와라 같은 기회는 맛이 들어. 그지 좋았어.
So and of course there's no, you are not to be blamed for that because you don't have time, right? You come here, you open the book here, only here. When you go home, you put the book back in the shelf or pile, put other books, right? And then next time when you come here, and then you take it out from that pile and come here again, and then that's the only time you have. So, of course, if you don't understand, then you're not ready to be blamed.
Somebody lost book also, right? 대단 삼성으로 방송 말로 해가지고 마마로 태월지 대래야지 대래래라지 쇼로 지나도지 대라도 지내가 제지 월도 하는 거 대로야 말씀 강로한테 용한테 말씀 제월에서 갑자기
So sometimes we also feel like, you know, if we really keep on reading, then maybe we'll find more interesting things later, you know, or something easier to understand. And then we keep on reading without understanding at the beginning. You know, you can keep on reading the bottom ones. Then that's not really good. You know. So whatever you read, and you should gain understanding of that part, that section, until you gain understanding of that section.
Okay? Yeah.
On what we talked about today, you talked about you know, the patience and the delusions, and you know, just have patience and take time and, you know, go slow kind of type thing. What if there's a situation that you have to deal with, like I don't know, it might be a country thing or a U.S. thing or whatever. You know, you have things you have to deal with, like a safety issue or something like that, and you get somebody to do something that they need to do. How do you skillfully work with people in a situation that you have to deal with?
일단 단단한 것도 있어보고 나도 저걸로 계셔라. 갈래쳐버렸어. 보고 버렸어. 그래서 난 다 믿었으면 뜬 거구나. 내가 다 알아. 뜬 거구나. 내가 가르쳐 뜬 거였어. 그때는 농배시들에게 뜬 거야. 애들처럼. 그래서 벌써 되게 그야말로 가르쳐 대선 뜬 거라. 근데 미치기도 말이야 알거든. 근데 말이야 근데 지금 보더니 내가 보고 내는 뜬 거라.
대정말 내가 들어서 답이 가요 주려고 좋아. 내가 나도라고 나도 시도가 검선다 미치기 튀어내다 말로 지나 뭐그 대들라고 말다스. 이거도 하고 그러고.
And so it doesn't mean that, you know, when you practice patience, you know, you have to be there and just take the beating. If somebody is coming to attack you with a stick, you should run away and just sit there and practice patience. So if you apply whatever means, you know, that at that point, you know, to deal with, you apply that means. Practicing patience, sitting there, I'm going to practice patience, will not stop person from beating you.
대가도 줘라. 주고 답이 가 지어 그래서. 나 콘로사에 말해서 또 콘로사에 말해. 콘로는 좀 맞추고 답이 지어 그래서.
So yeah, so at that time, you know, of course, you know, if you should try whatever means you can, you know, like running away and things like that. You know, the main thing is not to become angry. And so and okay, you run away, you know, that's fine. Just don't become angry.
Practice objective compassion.
아니 갑자기 짜서야 돼요. 콘로 매부터는 갑자기잖아. 먼저 갑자기 야자도 그래서.
So and also, you know, if you fight back, say you fight back, you know, say you stop that person, as the person came to hit you, and say you stop that person by taking away his stick or by just, you know, blocking him and so forth. If you're able to do that without anger, then it will be very good.
근데 먼저 계제시나 계제 야시도 그래서.
Then if you're not angry with that person, your action will not be harmful to that person. And your speech will not be bad to that person. If you talk to that person, you know, nicely without anger, then that person will listen to you.
당도 콘로 산에 지려면 딱 계절라고 하니 당도 계절라고 줄라고 와서 다 저도 이게 뭐 틀리도 와서 콘로다잖아. 다 during 냄새 다 야지오는 정말 도내는 거지.
So, but if you say the things in anger, then the things that you say will become bad. You will be using harsh words, bad words, and all these things, you know, when you say out of anger, right? And then that will only increase more and more anger on the other person, and that person will, you know, try to even attack you more. So nowadays, you know, people use a lot of textings, and so even when they text, you know, they use a lot of bad words, right?
You know, that 강의를 어떻게 가봐야 지금 딱 의원이 밖에서 전세시로
So when you are in such kind of situation where you have to deal with at that time, and even then, you know, you don't have to become angry. Talk to the person nicely, you know, with a reason, and in a nice way. So that will help. So if you talk to each other or deal with each other out of anger, then only bad things will happen. You know, it might seem like, you know, it solved the problem at that time, but then it will bring more other problems later.
And
if it is not that important, then just ignore it. Feel indifferent and just nothing. So whatever somebody says something bad, and don't even listen to it, and that's okay.
What if you feel you didn't do it angrily, but the other person thinks it was angrily?
소소의 선언 마사는 제가 다시 다이 코르선치는 같이 왔어요.
대대 대가라야 알레 파주와도 코노마 됐어 잠주스. 갑자기 아마 됐어. 들어.
네, 간도 바주 코르선은 제가 스스 제야 말.
네. 계속 그렇게 제압다. 파주마도 간도 제도 말 와서 저 소수문에 코노 마사가 돼. 소수 내게 제대로 와서.
So the main thing is to yourself, right? So for yourself, there's no way you can control other person. You can't make other person not become angry. But if you are not angry from your side, you will receive the benefit of not becoming angry.
Okay?
So if you don't become angry, then other person will not become that much angry also.
좋아, 너도 변화. Okay, now look at that. Okay, yes.
Geshe, just I thought I wanted to share something I've read along the way that helps to Sharon's question. The opinions of others are their problem and none of our business. That I think about that, and that helps me in those situations.
Okay, good. Thank you. Gracias. What it means? Huh?
Means you're welcome.
Oh, gracias. Oh, really? Oh, gracias. I don't know the meaning. Just as same. You guys have touched it. You guys also, most people doesn't know touch there. What means? But they say touch there. Even the Tibetans, touch there means good luck. No, good luck. Good luck. Good luck. Oh, anyway, happy. Their life is good. Sometimes the people die, then you can see touch there. The people are happened. Even the Tibetan, this happened, very bad happened. Someone family member died, they come to here, we need to see touch the leg. Isn't it bad day for them? No, good luck day, You should touch the leg, say good luck, good luck day. I don't know, there are many meanings. Okay, thank you. Gracias.
Yeah, the water changes.
Oh, I forgot. I have some cities. This is for city, how many days? It's, last Sunday, I watched the long life there. Someone took, you took the picture? I think not him. Not him, another guy.
Professional photographer.
Yeah,
No, he's here.
the Vietnamese guy. Yeah, anyway, he's not here, doesn't matter.
He came in this afternoon.
This morning?
Yeah, he was here.
Oh. Anyway, one Vietnamese guy, I know he's this skin guy, right?
Yeah.
He took his professional picture, he took a lot of pictures. Then he would like to give everybody copy. Then for thank you for him, took the pictures, make the coffee for water, for thank you for him. Everybody can see what we did Sunday. I think Sunday is all here. Okay? And after you be done, you can get, I think everybody get a copy. Okay? Thank you.
Please turn to page 39 of the Kurukulla Center prayer book for Thanksgiving mandala offering. Saji perki shuching me tok tram ri rabin ji ni de kien padi sangye jing du mik te uwagi gokun nam dak jing la chur pa shu Jitsum lame kutse rapten jing nam katrin le chok chur ye padang so santen pedrun me sasun yi droe mun sel tak tu neg yu chik Idam Guru Ratna Mandalakam Niyatayami